I got you. Let it rap real quick. Look. The city eyes, it's time to vote God. My God, a real nigga, cause he wasn't no flaw. Posted on the corner like a watchdog. Family secure, got that shotty in the closet by the mob ball. Fuck what they heard, when tell them it's all true. Be cautious, that foundation falls till you fall through. They gon' fall. Look, I keep this shit 50 times 2. Ain't no more heart in this game, I'm John Q. Colder than the avalanche, way above average. Fierce taste sweet, told him make me an apple tree. Left us in the valley full of bones, this where hope found. Java come on, man, dark sands get broke down. Riding through Evans to a mall quad, telling me how the crackers turn his childhood to a ghost town. Focus out, nigga, I lay that game down. I feel his pain, cause nothing is the same now. Never light shine like heaven through a rain cloud. Glock have a fit like my child, no tangent. Try to warn them niggas, we bear arms like tarantulas. Them mother niggas rap, I make anthems. I really see prophets under this banner. Make my enemies bow down on camera. Told my design I wanted black and white like a panda. I'm better than that nigga that stunk dirty to handle. Look, I move like a Brazilian, precious cargo, spirit Asian, but I got a new semi-auto. Wave that bitch around like where's Wardo. Sleep if they won't, I cut through they Z's like I'm Zorro. Pay me for his name, so I gotta keep that steel clutch. Trust me, I'm not what you think. I squeeze till it click like Dorothy when the heels touch. The world got me dumb, I don't feel much. Ride around with Yara down, just left the state bridge. Looking for a bitch better than Baby's kid. Remember I dropped Quiet Storm, I've been gone never since. Still in the field, fuck them niggas on the fence,
All right, this is Rude Speech, man. We got Captain Tower in the building. Yeah. So, Cap, man, let us know where you from.
Yeah, I appreciate y'all having me, man, on Rude Speech, man. Understand, I'll break it down right quick,
Don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I finish, one West when I start. Big shine. Big glow, I be gone till November, let my bitch know. I'm back by the winter, bubbling like Crisco. I need my pockets all swollen like a lymph node. Talking out the side of your neck, get you a slit throat. I stay broke, don't care if I got $1 million. Looking down on me, I put your brains on the ceiling. Fuck kicking down the door, we bout to demo the building. These fake cats all in these groups, I wonder who ya. Shoot ya off your pulpit, hallelujah. 4-pound gun youngin' down like it's a cougar. On my feet, combat boots, or is it Puma? Words spreading around about me, none of it rumor. All truth, very big facts, very large caliber on very small gaps. Compact pistols, ladders, and all that. About to throw the switch in the Nina for rapid fire. Got the 5.7 equipped with the magnifier. Boom shakalaka equipped with the rim rocker. We ain't really got beef, yeah, Ramak would have been shot you. The best rhymer since Pac and Big Papa. Big llama, big juice, I'm Big Jamba. Quarter tank of gas, I ride like a big timer. No informer, no sweat, not inside of my conglomerate. Wreck like King Kong. No Asian pun me, no chink in armor. Remain calm through our pain that bring drama. Stay focused on things that bring commas. Took all pressure, applied and made diamonds. Stayed true, kept shit pure, my name honored. Paid all dues and debts and kept promise. Make sure you show respect. Pay homage that I'm one West bred, one West vetted, one West pumping through my blood. Don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart. One West when I'm finished, one West when I start. I said I've been one West bred, one West vetted, one West pumping through my blood. Don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart. One West when I'm finished, one West when I start. I'm the hottest on the market, don't make me start it. I'ma pull up in a Spider-Man and Peter Parker. I remember days was trapping out the apartment. Now one West about put me up in a starship. About to fly the friendly skies in this bitch. Spit the truth on the corners, I lie a little bit. I'm a stand-up nigga, I die before I switch. Down, no we up, I'm cool with who I with. I'ma be war the king and stay dangerous. Hold down the biz and fam, remain blameless. Now rappers drippy with styles we made famous. First with studs and spikes in any city. Designing charge a stack for shit that can't fit me. Had fringes on my coattail way before Jimmy. Funny how the general ain't even see a penny. Better show respect, get smoked like a chimney. Keep my name out your mouth, don't even think it. Send a real Smith at y'all, no Jada Pinkett. Both ball heads, my grain a $1.50. Lost my man to the game, that pain that stuck with me. Had to find a cheat code to the street though, cause the niggas getting fouled, shooting like a free throw. Keep spitting acid like a Mino, and the nigga be the nicest with a mean flow. Try to ride my wave, you gon' need a speedboat. I'm hot like 100 degrees in a peacoat. Scarf in the sweater, I embark every letter. It's UPK, not a part, but together. Homie, I've been one West bred, one West vetted, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart. One West when I'm finished, one West when I start. One West bred, one West vetted, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart. One West when I'm finished, one West.
Westworld.
Right.
Everything is lawful. But Westworld.
The pressure on. I remember bringing up at home. Make it little just to make it known. Steady, ready, better watch your tone. When I was 5'7", I was breaking. I had a 5'7", now I want the chrome. 9'11", I was in my zone. Lose the argument or lose your throne. Who ain't no running up? Damn, now I'm coming up. They coming to kiss me, you dumb or what? You drawn, you done enough. They told me don't rush it, just wait my time. Paying attention, I see the signs. Coming right to me like Amazon. No time for distractions, I'm on the grind. Little shorty is sick and she knows she fine. Got a couple of so never mind. They throwing the shade cause they know I shine. Reason I'm going in overtime. You stuck in your ways, you keep fantasizing. I just don't get it, don't think about it. Don't make it an issue, it ain't a problem. Not too much talking, just organizing. One Westworld, no way around it. Heavy, so you know I'm grounded. Too sturdy, I'm well-rounded. Tunnel vision, I don't see a challenge. In a minute, I'm killing it. Case closed, I don't need a gavel. Know you hate it, don't even matter. New page, still the same time.
Mike, but just never forget that I do not. Always have that fresh in your mind. That I feel absolutely nothing for your pain and your problem. Because I know that all of your pain and problems are a test to make you stronger.
I live in a world where we coincide. If you're not ready to stay inside, you're drowning away, you're gonna ride. You stick to the end, you get glorified.
Seeing if you're gonna step up in it, you're gonna run.
You stick to the end, you get glorified. Just make it official, I'm winning up. One of the greatest is no exempt. It took me a minute to figure it out. I was struggling, they made a man. I shuffled the deck and I played my hand. Just give me a reason to put them on you. Didn't believe that I had me a vision. Should I believe that you is loyal? We giving up game, they fumbling plays. I'm tired of talking, I'm racked out. Before that we started, they tapped out. I jumped in my duffel and blacked out. What you witnessing is elevation. Glory road to my destination. The haters, it's a celebration. And I put that on my reputation. When the fall, this is a demonstration. They sick and I know they hate it. One Westworld every season. Hot boy, this dedication. I'm giving game, I don't need favors. Go against it, you gon' see the danger. You ain't family, you a damn stranger. I beat your ass, I don't need a baby. I don't got time for excuses. I'm plotting on making the killer. I'm getting the feeling, they know that I'm coming, I'm running. Let's get to the business. I'm still playing my post. Taking the rim like diesel. Don't run with too many people. I don't feel none of us equal. None of us equal.
And there are some brothers and sisters that know that so much, they would never leave. They would never abandon you. Since you have to stay alive here, they'll stay alive with you.
I live in a world where we coincide. If you're not ready to stay inside, you're drowning away, you're gonna ride. You stick to the end, you get glorified. Yeah. You stick to the end, you get glorified.
They're one West.
Man, the whole group of us meet together.
Black people, when you drive by, white people drive by the neighborhood and say, oh man, too many black people here. I'll tell you why, because black people have a great structure of family also. Native American Indians, when the white man took the children from the Native American Indians and put them into the boarding schools, the school of the Carlisles, where they robbed white and murdered them, you know what the Native American Indian families did? They bring all their camping, their teepees, their families, and they camped right outside of those schools. They camped outside because they loved their children that were taken from them illegally by the white man. Then let me tell you something. The family structure was destroyed by America. And today, America is trying to destroy the family structure of Mexican people. Where are the detention centers for the Asians? Where are the detention centers for the Europeans? Where are the detention centers for the Armenians? Where are the detention centers for the Asians? They're illegal in America too. There's thousands of illegal Asians and millions of illegal Asians. But you know what? There is no detention centers for them. There's only detention centers for the Latinos, for the Hispanics, El Salvador, Guatemala, Honduras, Nicaragua, todo Centroamérica se encuentran las áreas de detención. But you know what? The white Europeans are free to roam America. You goddamn shameless white man. You are a virus on this earth. You are a disease. You are a monster. You're the reason why the animals are disappearing. You hunt for sport. You kill the black, the Hispanic, and Native American Indian for your own sport, for your own pleasure, for your own sickening mind. You know what? No white man will come and tell me I'm wrong. No white man will come and defend their people. You know why? Because they know what I'm speaking is true. White man is heartless. White man is spineless. The white man uses black, Hispanics, and Native American Indians for their own gain. And you know what the problem is with blacks? That we walk right side by side with our enemy. We look him in the face and smile like if he's doing us a favor. Mexicans, we look at the white man like he's better than us. The white man is spit. The white man is nothing. The white man used us for his own gain, destroying Latin America, robbing them of their natural resources, and gaining it for the benefit of their own country. But you know what? America is going to be destroyed, and your children will never grow up, will never see the old age, because God is going to come back and he's going to wipe out this nation for the months to visit our families. Man, the whole group of us meet together. Black people, when you drive by, white people drive by the neighborhood and say, oh man, too many black people here. I'll tell you why, because black people have a great structure of family also.
All right, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up. What's going down, Israel? Shalom, Rasa. We're here another Tuesday night Brotherhood class, holding it down, you know what I mean? What's going down with y'all out there, man? Of course, Bubba Kashuv, y'all could. Please like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel, our Facebook page. You know what I mean? For Facebook, it's ISUPK Southern California and ISUPK Los Angeles. And then on the YouTube, Hollywood Israelites. If y'all could, Bubba Kashuv, subscribe, like, share, comment, man. Put your questions in. We'll get them, we'll get to them. You know what I mean? But of course, once again, this is a Tuesday night Brotherhood class. And of course, the topic tonight is Brotherhood and Carnalismo is the solution. Now, you're going to ask me, solution to what? Brotherhood and Carnalismo is a solution to all these situations. Brotherhood and Carnalismo is how you stop these mass shootings, Rasa. That's the thing, man. You got to ask yourself why we have these problems with mass shooters, with hatred, with racism, with oppression, with gang violence. Why are our ghettos and our barrios in the conditions that they're in? And the reason why is because we have lack of carnalismo. We have lack of brotherhood, man. That's been our biggest issue, man, since 1492, since this oppressor landed here, man. He done pitted tribes against one another. He done pitted raza against one another. He done pitted, black and brown against one another. Well, we're here to give you the solution, man, to solve that. So, orale. Hey, Shalom, I don't want Shalom. Y'all was with us, sir. Abby Kim, Shalom. You know what I mean? So let's get to it, man. Let me start out with something, man, because, of course, I'm sure a lot of y'all have been paying attention to the news and to what's going on out there, right? You seen the incidents we had in the state of Texas right now, man. My question is, man, to anybody that can answer it from, what in the hell is going on out there in Texas, man? Good night. You had 3 separate incidents of brown on brown violence. 3 separate incidents, man. You had a mass shooter, being a self-proclaimed white supremacist. As you can see, as you can tell, I'm trying to gather the words together to even explain this, man. All right, good night. But no sweat, man. Let's get to it, man. Here's the reason, let's start out with this, man. Why do you think this is happening, Rasa? Why y'all think we're getting shot up and attacked? You know what I mean? So, let me fix this camera real quick, man. Give me 1 second, Israel. 1 second. Let's fix this camera, man, because this is. Yeah, we gotta fix this.
Imagen de Jesús, el que está en la Biblia. Según Revelación 1:14-15, este no es el rostro que miró Juan. Juan nos dice que en la Biblia, cuando él miró a Cristo en el cielo, él tenía su piel morena y su cabello de lana y sus pies y sus piernas como quemados en un horno. Esta imagen es el falso imagen del Cristo, dado a la gente de Latinoamérica por su opresor. Este es la imagen del diablo. Esta es la imagen que se ha dado para que nosotros nos hayamos perdido. Si tú tienes esta imagen en tu...
All right, back at it, Israel Salaki. We're just, trying to fix the camera here. But yeah, why do you think this is going on? Hey, I don't want Shalom Shabrakata. Hey, I Tazam. Hey, Shalom Mak Yabashin Shabrakata. You know what I mean? What is the solution to stop this, man? Well, like I said, Brotherhood, Carnalismo. That's how we stop this, man. And lack of brotherhood is why this is going on. These are curses from the Lord, man. So let's get to it, man. Let me go to the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. Let's start right there. Right? Now, you're going to see where am I going with this, right? I'm going to show you something, man. This will be your scripture that we're going to keep repeating over and over again, man, because the message needs to sink in, Rasa. The message needs to sink in that we are God's chosen people. And these laws, statutes, and commandments, we need to, that's what's going to fix this, man. So this right here, what happened, man, this is a curse from the Lord. That's what it is, man. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, right? The Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So, of course, what are those commandments? I'm going to give you an example of one of those commandments that we're supposed to keep. Let's go to the book of Exodus. God. Give me 1 second, Israel. Let me see if I get my canal up on here. All right, I'm gonna send this link in to the class. Okay. We're going to go to the book of Exodus in the 20th chapter. Exodus 20 and 2013. Let's go to Exodus 20 and 13. Right? Because it's as Deuteronomy 28:1 says, right? And it shall come to pass that thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth. So let's give an example of what one of those commandments is. We're going to go to Deuteronomy 20 and 13, Exodus 20 and 13, Salakia. And of course, there it is. Thou shalt not kill. Now, when it's saying thou shalt not kill, right? It's talking about thou shalt not commit murder. Thou shalt not, kill a brother, unjustly. And that's what happened this weekend, man, where you had 3 separate incidents of Rasa killing Rasa unjustly, man, without reason. Mainly out of the self-hatred, right? Alicia Dominique, hey, shalom, sis, Yahweh Shema, Allah Bashim Yahushai. Right? That's what happened. So thou shalt not kill, right? Meaning thou shalt not murder. And that's our problem, man. That's our problem as a people. We don't follow these. We don't have our culture and our identity. That's what our problem is. So we want to follow after these other nations, man. Right? Let's go to the incident in Texas. Right, let's start there. Let's start with the recent one, right? An example of this: thou shalt not commit murder. So we had 2 separate incidents right within a week. Let's start with this one, right? Because this is what happens when we don't keep those laws, statutes, and commandments.
Out of Texas, the 4-day manhunt coming to an end tonight for a fugitive. He's accused of gunning down 5 of his neighbors execution style, killing them with an AR-15 after they asked him to stop firing the weapon outside in the yard. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger with how long.
So what this cat did, right, is he murdered a family of I believe they were either Venezuelan or Hondureños, right? And of course he's Mexican. And the only crime they did, right, was to ask him to stop firing his weapon. And what did this brother do? This brother went and unalived them, murdered them, right? He didn't follow the law, statutes, and commandments. He was offended by them asking him to stop firing his weapon. You know what I mean? And this is what I mean by if we don't follow the commandments, we suffer. We're cursed. We're on the bottom, right? This is an example of the curse. Because this is what he should have done. He should have went. If he was offended by them saying that he should stop firing that weapon, he should have went and spoke to him. He should have went to them and them alone, the father, whoever the head was, right? And talked to him and him alone. You know what I mean? As a matter of fact, he shouldn't even been firing his weapon. Whatever mental issue he had, right? He should have got help for it. His people should have turned him in to the medical professionals, man, so that they could have evaluated him for mentally to see what his mental state is. Because obviously you're not right in the head. Obviously you're sick in the head and you're firing your rifle randomly. You know what I mean? Like you want to go unalive some people, But this is what he should have done. If he was offended by what they did, right? Here's an example of that brotherhood, right? The Bible says that you have an issue with that brother, go to him and him alone, right? It's the book of Matthew. Orale.
Okay, Most High in Christ. Give me 1 second, Israel. Hey, Shalom. Jaime Yabashir. What's up, man? Hey, good to see you, carnal.
Shalom, Yahweh Bashim Yosharakata.
Khan, how you feeling, carnal?
I'm feeling good, sir. Thank you so much.
Khan, hey, appreciate you for hopping on. So what we're going over, right? My class is titled Brotherhood and Carnalismo is the solution, right?
Khan.
And we're talking about the incidents that just happened this past weekend, Jaime. Of course, I know you're familiar with what happened and how crazy it is, right?
Khan.
Khan, like, go ahead, carnal.
Give me a second. I just gonna get the Bible app on my Salaki on my computer.
No sweat out. Go ahead, do your thing. I'm gonna pull up the precept and put it right here, right?
Khan, I don't Khan.
So of course, there's a brother right here that did it, right? He's a brother, right? I mean, obviously, he looks like an Issacharite, man. He looks like he could be, Zebulon or any other, one of the tribes, but obviously he's Rasa, and he went and did this. And this is just the first one, man. Good night, man. There's how many different incidents, Jaime? Like at least 3 separate incidents, right?
Khan.
And it's just like, what in the hell is going on in Texas? And it's just like, what in the hell is going on in Texas?
Salaki. Can you hear that? Or?
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, get the reverb.
Sorry about that.
No sweat.
Salaki.
I'm gonna finish playing the news article.
Finally tracked him down. Josh.
Well, Bill, the search for the shooter involved more than 200 officers and continued around the clock for days. And in the end, he was just miles away, hiding under a pile of laundry. We're going to show you now a brand new video of 38-year-old Francisco Oropesa in the front seat of that government SUV after his arrest.
Oh, he's Rasa. Look at this brother, man. Hold on. Do you see that on his arm, Jaime? You see where my mouse cursor is circling? You see that right there, right?
Hold on. I don't have it. I'm pulling up the app right now. Okay, give me a second.
Khan.
Salaki.
Now you too wild, but if you look at the picture, right, I paused the video real quick to show you something, carnal.
Okay, I'm on it right now.
You see the screen?
What?
See his arm? What's that look like, God?
Is that the Virgin Mary?
Right? Am I tripping? That looks like the Virgin Mary, right?
Kind of Guadalupe
version. Guadalupe, right?
Khan.
Just let's hold on to that. Let's finish this video.
In a tiny Texas town called Cut and Shoot, Oropesa did not put up a fight when a task force of federal agents led by the U.S. Marshals stormed into the home where he'd been hiding out.
This is the big right here. So there's it's 3 women, a child, right, and the man. What he should have done, right, is he should have went to the brother. If he was offended by them telling him not to fire his weapon, instead of unaliving them, right, he should have went to them and them alone. He should have went to Josue, Jonathan Caceres, and said, and let him know he was offended. Instead of thinking that the solution to the answer was to unalive this brother, man, to murder him, right, and the whole family. You able to read for me, Ak, or how you feeling, Ak? It's no sweat.
No, Khan. Well, what's the verse?
If you could, Baba Kasha, go to the book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 15.
Matthew, chapter 18,
verse 15.
Verse 15. Khan. The book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 15. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him.
Right. Moreover, if thy brother shall Salaki, I'm to emphasize the points. I'm gonna read the first part. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, now go ahead, Jaime.
Go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone.
Right.
If he shall
Salak. Go ahead, keep reading.
If
get
he
him.
shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother.
Right. Moreover, if thy brother shall trespass against thee, go and tell him his fault between thee and him alone. If he shall hear thee, thou hast gained thy brother. You know what I mean? So, he should have went and if he was offended by them, telling him to not fire the weapon, he should have went and spoke to the man. He should have went to Josue and told him, you know what? Don't, I'm offended by you telling me not to fire the weapon. Then Josue could have explained his point to him. Josue could have been like, you know what? Don't fire that weapon because you're gonna hit somebody. You're gonna shoot somebody. But of course, the brother had some demons on him, and that's exactly what his intention was, to unalive some people, because he just used that as the excuse to get these people, man. Let's go back to the video.
In the massacre of these 5 people, including a mother and her 9-year-old son, at a neighbor's house this past Friday. A rampage that unfolded when someone asked Oropesa to stop shooting his AR-15 in a yard because a newborn was trying to sleep.
So that was the part. So they were telling him to stop shooting the rifle because the newborn was trying to sleep. So this sounds like this is an ongoing issue with this cat. He just fires his rifle and everyone around him is concerned, right? The newborn was trying to sleep and he got offended by them telling him to stop firing it.
But the enraged shooter then allegedly burst into that house, killing 5 of the 10 people inside.
So you heard that part, right, Jaime?
He broke into the house.
Right. But what did they say he was what? He was enraged. Okay. So the enraged shooter broke into the house. So he got angry by them asking him to not fire the weapon, right? That he thought it necessary to go next door, break into the house, and go unalive him. Because he got emotional. Obviously, he has some mental problems, right? To where he can't think right in the head, and he thought the solution was to go murder these people, man. Because he got angry.
The trail seemed to go cold despite a $100,000 reward. But this evening, the FBI got a call on its tip line, and just over an hour later, he was in custody.
The Marshal Service is the oldest federal law enforcement agency, and we have an expertise in hunting fugitives. This is a very sad time for the victims, and I hope that this will bring them some comfort, and they could grieve.
This is basically what we do. We show up, we bring the adequate resources, and then we don't let up. We've always said it's not a matter of if, but a matter of when the suspects can be caught, and we're extremely glad that today is the when.
Oropesa had been deported 4 times before this incident took place. It's not clear how he got the AR-15. Investigators would not confirm reports he'd been hiding out with a family member. Tonight, he's in custody facing 5 counts of murder, the local sheriff promising he will live out his life behind bars.
I want to say that our heart.
So this is the next story that we're going to touch on, but that they emphasize, of course, they had to emphasize that he was an illegal alien, right? What they call him, an illegal immigrant, and that how many times he's been deported, because the media, right? America is using the story to exploit us even more, right? America's using the story to demonize the raza. You know what I mean? To make us seem like we're these group of violent animals that just want to unalive people, that just want to go out and murder people. It's funny though, when the shooter is a Edomite, right? When it's an oppressor, or when it's another nation, like the incidents that we had over here, Jaime in Alhambra, right? There's no they're not demonizing an entire community, but when it comes to us, they will demonize us. You know what I mean? So just that's a sidebar, but just to show the story, right? This cat thought it necessary to unalive these people. He's had a history of having issues. You know what I mean? We don't know what he was charged with, but I know, whatever it was, he had problems. He has some mental problems, man. And whoever was over him, man, his people should have, took him in to get help. You know what I mean? But of course, we're not allowed to say that, right, Jaime? We're not allowed to use that excuse. Every other nation can, but we can't.
Khan.
Donald Trump's gonna have a field day with this. Best believe that. He wants to.
Yeah, he was the main one pushing that agenda or that point that everybody together we were all murderers, thieves, drug dealers, and so on.
Right. That we were rapists and criminals. He said some
Right.
he assumes are good people, but he was, they exploit these situations to push a narrative about us, man. So of course we covered Matthew 18 and 15. What's the next one? Go to read the next verse, Baba Kasha, 18 and 16.
18 and 16. Salakia.
Yeah.
18. Got it. The book of Matthew, chapter 18, verse 16. But if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses every word may be established.
God. So it says, go to one or two. If he will not hear thee, right? Go to one or how many witnesses?
One or two. One or two or more, Salakia. One or two or more, then in the mouth of two or three witnesses every word may be established.
Khan. Now, I'm gonna pull out a statistic, right? Because this is what this shows, right? It shows how what stands against us because we don't have this. Keep reading. Go to the next verse out. Right? It says, Salaki, let me just finish. It says, but if he will not hear thee, then take with thee one or two more, that in the mouth of two or three witnesses everywhere may be established. So they could have, they couldn't agree right there and then, right? He could have went, they could have had a council with other brothers, right? And then they could have pleaded the case with one another. And of course, he would have been found wrong, right? He would have been found in the wrong because he was firing that weapon, waking up a baby, endangering people's lives, right? Now read the next one, Jaime.
Verse 17, and if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church. But if he neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican.
Right. So if he shall neglect thee, if he didn't hear that, right, and exactly what he did, man, he faced the judgment, right? Now he's going to do life in prison. But it says, if he shall neglect to hear them, tell it unto the church, right? Which is now you take him to counsel. But if he shall neglect to hear the church, let him be unto thee as a heathen man and a publican, meaning he's kicked out the nation. He's no longer, we're going to get rid of him, get him away from us, right? Because obviously he's a threat. See, if these rules were applied, this could have saved that family's life, Jaime. You know what I mean? That could have saved this family if we kept these laws, statutes, and commandments, as I brought out in Deuteronomy 28 and 1, right before we started the class, right? And how to deal with your brother. Because this is also what happens. If you could, Jaime, go to Deuteronomy 28 and 54.
Got it, sir.
If you could read Baba Kasha.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 54. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother.
Right. If I could, Jaime, let me say this. So that the man that is tender among you and very delicate, his eyes shall be evil towards his brother. Keep reading, Carnal.
And toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave.
Right. So, and toward the wife of his bosom, and toward the remnant of his children, which he shall leave. He shall turn against everybody. You know what I mean? He shall be a threat to everybody because his eyes are now evil towards his brother. If his eyes are evil towards his brother Jaime, who else will his eyes be evil to?
To his family, sir. To his
Right,
brother.
right. And that's exactly what happened here with this incident, carnal. His eyes were evil towards his brother, man. Raza doesn't realize that them Hondureños, the Venezuelans, they're a raza too, man. They are people too. You know, we're the same people. We're indigenous people of this land, right? More than that, we're Israelites. I only use the term indigenous because a lot of people, you know, to fit to gain the audience I'm trying to put this out to, right? But this goes to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. But right now, this because this happened with Raza, this goes to Raza, man, indigenous people, right? Because we know we're not Hispanic, you know we're not Latino, but we try to copy them. You know what I mean? Who else does mass shootings, Jaime? Who's notorious for mass shootings?
The oppressor, sir.
Right.
The devil that the Bible speaks of.
Así es, carnal. The oppressor, el hombre blanco, el gringo, right? The so-called white man. He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, right? So now we're gonna go into the next story, right? There's something else I want to bring out, man. The lack of compassion for this, man. Let me bring this out, man, real quick. There's a statistic I want to bring out about Latinos and gun violence, right? See if I got the article up. Is it this one right here that I shared? Give me 1 second. But it was just talking about Uvalde. We'll share this story. So the article, right? I'll read it, Jaime. You know what I mean? The article is titled "Gun Violence." Oh, man, come on. Hold on, not gun violence in Hispanic and Latino communities, right? Now I'm gonna read this, right? Over the past few years, there have been a number of tragic and high-profile incidents of gun violence in the Hispanic and Latino community. Most recently, in the town of Uvalde. So this article, right, came out when the incident in Uvalde, Texas, happened, where 4 and 5 residents are Latino. 38 people were shot at Robb Elementary School. 19 children and 2 teachers died in the shooting. In 2019, a shooter killed 22 people at a Walmart in El Paso, Texas, claiming that he intended to target Mexicans. The atrocities made headlines across the nation and shocked our collective consciousness. Now, why did it shock us? It shocked us because Raza, we got our heads up the oppressors behind. You know what I mean? We got our heads in the sand. We have poor leadership. We got no leaders. Time it's like in term leadership, right? We got no leaders that warn us about anything, that look out for us. Right? Our watchmen are fine. As a matter of fact, I'll pull that precept up. Right? Our people that's supposed to be up there that don't look out for us. And they serve us as sheep to the slaughter. Let's keep reading this, man. The atrocities made headlines across the nation and shocked our collective consciousness. But much less discussed is the regular, unrelenting toll that gun violence takes on Hispanic and Latino communities, so called. On average, 11 Hispanic people die from gun violence every day. Almost half of all Latino youth in major U.S. cities live less than a mile away from a gun homicide that occurred in the past year. You know what I mean? That's heavy, right, Jaime?
That's heavy, sir.
At least 1 mile. I mean, I know where you at. You probably had that occurring. I know where I'm at. You know what I mean? That happens. And gun violence in the Hispanic community has been on the rise, increasing 66% since 2014. Understanding the scope of this alarmingly growing problem is critical to illustrate the devastating extent of gun violence in the Hispanic and Latino community. This community bears a disproportionate toll of this epidemic compared to other demographic groups in this country. And understanding this burden is essential to creating and implementing responsive solutions. Nearly 1 in every 5 people living in the U.S. are Hispanic or Latino, making this community the second largest racial/ethnic group in the country. Hispanic and Latino communities include people from various countries of origins and ethnic backgrounds, including 24 countries from Central and South America. The terms Hispanic and Latino are often used interchangeably, right? And the reason why, you know what I mean, is because we've been stripped of our identity and culture, right? Let me, if you could, Jaime, read for me Deuteronomy 28 and 37.
28 and 37. Another one concert.
Right. Side note, real quick.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee.
Right. Thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether the Lord shall lead thee. And now, what are we reading right here, Jaime? Right? Saying, oh, hold on. Is it this one right here? Nearly 1 in 5, right, is where it said, making this community the second largest racial ethnic group in the country. Hispanic and Latino communities include people from various countries of origin and ethnic backgrounds, including 24 countries from Central and South America. The terms Hispanic and Latino are often used interchangeably to describe this group, right? That's the byword. That's the astonishment, right? The shock. Though these terms technically have different meanings, Latino refers to people of Latin American origin, while Hispanic refers to people of a Spanish-speaking origin. According to national polling, members of this group generally refer to themselves as Hispanic, with more than twice as many respondents stating a preference for using Hispanic over Latino. Latinx, a gender-neutral term, that's such a man. Good night. I don't even want to deal with that madness. In place of Latino, is used by just 3% of Hispanic and Latinos, more than 3/4 of Hispanic and Latinos who have not heard of this term. Gun deaths among Hispanic people have increased at nearly twice the rate of gun deaths naturally. This memo relies on morality data from the Centers of Disease Control and Prevention, which categorizes race and ethnicity separately. The CDC data is the most complete source of information of firearm mortality. However, limitations in this data may mask important differences in Hispanic and Latino subgroups. For example, the data does not provide breakdowns of specific Hispanic ethnic groups that may face different risks for gun violence. Since the CDC routinely uses the term Hispanic to describe trends in morality, this memo will use Hispanic when referring to data from the CDC. In other instances, such as when referring to the broader community, we will also include the term Latino. Salaki, let me just go down to this right here. Trends in gun violence. Gun violence kills 4,100 Hispanic people in the U.S. every year. However, in 2020, a record 5,003 Hispanic people died from gun violence. The Latino community, particularly Latino youth, has been disproportionately impacted by gun violence. Gun deaths from Hispanic people have increased at nearly twice the rate of gun deaths naturally. The number of Hispanic gun deaths rose 66%. Comparatively, national gun deaths rose 34%. Firearm homicides account for 60% of all Hispanic gun deaths. Firearm homicide deaths take disproportionate toll on Hispanic Americans compared to many other racial and ethnic groups. In fact, the Hispanic firearm homicide rate is more than double the non-Hispanic white homicide rate. Firearm homicide rate. Salakia. For nearly 3/4 of Hispanics and Latinos, live in only 9 states, leading to a desperate geographic concentration of Hispanic gun deaths. For example, in New Mexico, 62% of gun homicide victims are Hispanic, despite the group comprising just half of the state's population. That's Deuteronomy 28 and 54 right there, Jaime.
Con.
You know what I mean? Comparatively, non-Hispanic white residents of New Mexico make up only 38% of the population and only 21% of gun homicide. Similarly, in California, 48% of all gun homicide victims are Hispanic, despite this group only accounting for 40% of the state's population. Contrastingly, non-Hispanic white residents make up a similar percentage of the population, but a smaller proportion of gun homicide victims, 16%, 38%. Young Latino men experience some of the highest rates of gun violence. Gun violence is the leading cause of death for Hispanic male youth, ages 15 to 19, and the third leading cause of death for Hispanic male adults, ages 20 to 44. Unfortunately, the Latino and Hispanic communities have disproportionately borne the impact of our country's gun violence epidemic for decades. In fact, gun homicides have been the second leading cause of death for Hispanic males ages 15 to 34 for over 20 years. And here's the proof of that, man.
Hearts go out to the victims of this deadly shooting and their families. This is just an experience no family should have to have. Have you spoken to any of the people who were impacted by this tragedy?
Thank you, Simone. This is State Representative Retta Andrews Bowers, and I represent House District 113. And I would have to say I have spoken to supporters and constituents in my district. It is a neighboring district of one of my colleagues, Representative Jeff Leach, represents that area. But I will tell you, it's close enough to where my daughter has friends from high school that work in that mall, as well as my family and I shop there. Church members shop there. I had a constituent reach out and tell me that her daughter was at the mall yesterday, but she is staying home now.
Representative, this is yet another, this has happened so many times. I gave the numbers at the top of this show, 199 mass shootings just this year. This is only the 127th day of the year. What are your constituents saying? People in your district, the folks in neighboring districts?
People are concerned naturally. People realize that we have been in a pandemic and an epidemic, but this is part of that epidemic. We're in a serious crisis when it comes to gun violence, and we need real reforms. People and constituents are asking for us to fight to raise the age, to fight for universal background checks, to make sure we are making sure the legislature is looking at red flag laws, and to make sure that people that are in extreme threat, we can protect ourselves from. We also.
So let me say this, man. She's calling for, background checks and gun reform. None of that's gonna work, Jaime. You know what I mean? You can have all the gun reform and background checks in the world, but without the law, statutes, and commandments to put in place the Brotherhood, right? That's not going to do anything. And then these politicians just use these incidents as opportunity to gain votes. That's what they use it for. How many years have been talking about gun reform, Jaime?
So it's been a while ever since Obama and I mean it goes back to like I think every presidency that I've had a chance to be a part of. I guess the that I've been alive
Right.
since the 90s
Right.
even.
Actually, and this is the shooter, right? I'm trying to get the story on the shooter. Like this,
Investigators do have to keep two big
right?
questions on their minds tonight. Who was that shooter and what was the potential motive? Right now, sources are telling WFAA they believe they do know the answer to one of those questions. Senior crime and justice reporter Rebecca Lopez is live at a separate scene in Dallas now with exclusive information for us tonight. Rebecca?
Well, Teresa, just a little while ago, there were FBI agents inside this home, Dallas police surrounding it. Sources tell me that they believe this is where the suspected shooter lived with his parents. They have been questioning the family, and a little while ago, they had asked for a translator. Now, neighbors say that they saw the FBI agents show up about a few hours ago, and of course, they had been here ever since. They just pulled out with some evidence that they took in boxes. They tell us the suspected shooter is in his 30s and has lived here for as long as anyone can recall. They tell us he drives a gray Charger and was always parked in front of the home, except for the last few months. They did notice that maybe he was not around and might have moved out. Neighbors say they don't recall any police activity here or problems. Now, we're not releasing his name right now because it has not been officially confirmed, but neighbors say the suspect
Or
always
release
wore
his
some
name.
kind
His
of
name's already
security
been
guard
released.
uniform. Although no one saw him with a weapon, they say he was very quiet, would often walk up and down the street wearing some kind of hoodie, and also just not really talking to anybody. They said he had very unusual behavior.
This guy was an
They will
oddball.
likely spend many days going through that evidence, trying to determine what happened. I've talked to multiple sources, and they are not quite sure at this point what the motive was, even after speaking with the family.
So here's what's brought out. This is the shooter, Jaime. Right? I try to find the pictures of him. I'm gonna share this page. See this? This is the tattoos that he had on him, right? It was brought out that he was had something which was called the RWDS, right? The Right Wing Death Squad. Now you see these tattoos he has, right? Like he's got a swastika and the SS Nazi tattoos, right? Nazi symbol. You would think this was a Edomite, right? Let me show you what his face looks like. This guy, Mauricio Garcia.
What the?
Right. That's the same reaction I had, Jaime. Like, what in the actual hell is going on? I'm going to tell you what's going on. This brother's mentally ill, man. He was mentally ill. Because how in the hell, you being a brown man, you're going to rock Nazi tattoos? Obviously, you're not in the right state of man and in the right state of mind to understand what those tattoos mean. What the Nazis, what that group is, right? You guys sound like you got a case of schizophrenia. He probably thought himself as a white man. You know what I mean?
Takes me back to a Chappelle skit.
Right, Clayton Bigsby. Clayton Bigsby, man. That's what this guy is, man. But you know, and it's the Mauricio Garcia, man. Like it's like how you rock them tattoos, man. Like here's my question: who in the hell did the tattoos on you, and what were they thinking, man? How you not look at this brother and be like, hey, man, what you want to get tattooed on you? Like, nah, brother, go get help, carnal. You got some issues.
I think he was hanging around maybe too many oppressors.
Right. That's probably what it is, man. If you could go to the book of the scripture where it says, envy not thou oppressor, choose none of his ways. Right? That might be Amos. Let me get it real quick. It's Proverbs, Salakia, Proverbs 3:31. Right, because he had those tattoos on him, right? Hey, the water, sir. Hey, shalom, sir. Yabashtabakta.
Got it, sir.
Go ahead.
The book of Proverbs, chapter 3 and verse 31. Envy not, Salakia, envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways.
Right. Envy thou not the oppressor, and choose none of his ways. Right. Let's just go back to the page, right? He had this right here. Now, here's the proof that that's the oppressor's way. Let's go to the Nazis. Right. Let's pull up pictures of the Nazis. Right. This is, we talk about the Bible is our story. This is the proof, right? Because look, it's telling you what happens, man. Right there, Hyman. That's where where that comes from. And that's what he did. He did the white supremacist agenda by targeting Raza, right? Well, I know he killed some heathens, right? But he also unalived some Raza, right? Three of his victims were so-called Hispanic. He called himself the right-wing death squad. And that comes to show you that we have no business trying to align ourselves in the politics of America. The right wing, the alt-right, we have this that has nothing to do with this. What was he thinking? What did he think was going to happen doing this, right? He thought, wait, what, you think America is now all of a sudden going to respect Raza because you did this? You think America is gonna all of a sudden put the Mexicans over the people from Venezuela and Honduras? And that goes to everybody who hates on one another, right? The 12 tribes, right? Y'all think hating on your brother somehow is going to gain you some status with America and see you as a joke. They're going to see you as a joke and not respect you at all. And y'all need to wake up and realize that, Raza. Wake up and realize, that you need to separate yourself from this oppressor, man. Envy thou not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. Right? Because that's what happened. That's the ways of the oppressor. These mass shootings, the Nazi tattoos, man. That's the white man's way. We do this because we copy them. If you could, Jaime, go to Jeremiah 10:1. You know when you got it, Canal.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto, O house of Israel.
Right. Hear ye the word the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel. Read the next one, Canal.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed of the signs of heaven, for the heathen are dismayed at them.
Right. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen, and be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. Right. For the heathen are dismayed at them. Right. Don't be like the heathen. Don't be like the so-called white man. Stop trying to be like these gringos, man. Like, obviously, and that's the proof. This is the proof right here. This is the evidence right here. This is him trying to be like the white man. A picture's worth 1,000 words, right, Jaime?
Come on, sir.
And that's what this is right here, man. Us trying to copy the oppressor and be like him, and hence we pay, man. Hence we become a statistic. It was, what is it again? I'm gonna go back to that story, right? Um, the highest rates of gun violence, right? 44%, for males ages 20 through 40. Oh, so like it went, what is it? It's the leading cause of death for us, if for Raza, if you're between the ages of 15 to 19, and the third leading cause of death if you're between the ages of 20 to 44, and that's what happened, man. That's what happened with this guy. Right? Let's go more into him, man. Let's go more into it. There was a story I pulled out last night, right? And in the radio show last night, Jaime, we were talking about this, but there was a good article we pulled to show who this guy was. And to show something, man. Where's that story at? Salakia. His name is Mauricio Garcia, right? Look at this. This is what this is following the weight of the heathen.
About the man who caused all of this pain. Our JD Miles was the first to report the 33-year-old Dallas man's identity, and late this afternoon, Texas DPS did confirm our reporting. I-Team reporter Brian New tonight, spending some time uncovering more new details, Brian, about this shooter. You're at the hotel where he was staying at most recently, correct?
Yes, Nicole, this is the hotel where last night police and FBI agents were serving a search warrant looking for clues. And while the motive remains unclear, we are learning tonight that the gunman may have had neo-Nazi beliefs. A video gone viral shows the gunman stepping out of a car in the parking lot of the mall and opening fire. The gunman's Dodge Charger seen in this video matches this one seen on Google Maps sitting outside his parents' home in Northeast Dallas.
He always parked right there in front of the house, like all the time.
Neighbors told us they watched last night.
Catch that brother right there, Jaime. Let me rewind it. You see how he sounds?
He always parked right there in front of the house, like all the time.
Neighbors told us they watched last night as FBI agents removed 4 boxes from the home where the gunman lived, while Dallas police officers questioned his parents.
Yeah, it kind of sends a little, chill down your spine and makes you, wonder, like our neighbors were saying, that we know our neighbors, but, how much do we know about our neighbors?
A second warrant search was conducted at this extended stay hotel in Dallas, where sources say the gunman had most recently been detained. It's clear what investigators found here, but sources confirmed to CBS News clues were discovered at the scene. The gunman was armed with an assault-style rifle and multiple rounds of ammunition. He was also wearing body armor and had a patch with the letters RWDS, believed to stand for a right-wing neo-Nazi group. Investigators are currently searching for a social media footprint for clues to see whether he may have had any links to violent extremists. And we are also...
One thing I was going to say, Jaime, I said this last night in the class. I was like, I'm surprised they didn't bring up black Hebrew Israelites or blame black Hebrew Israelites. The media likes to do that for some reason.
But they would find a way to attach it if they had the chance.
Right. Let me read Jeremiah 10:2 again. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen and be not dismayed. Oh, Salaki, just learn not the way of the heathen. Right? Be not dismayed at the signs of heaven. These heathens are dismayed at them. They're dismayed by so-called Hispanics. That it's not a coincidence, Jaime, or is it a coincidence that this is happening while they're about to end Title 42, and you got crowds and crowds of people rushing the border from Venezuela, from Honduras, and now you got these cats over here, targeting the Hondureños, the Venezuelans, right? So it just shows you, right? Shows you the hatred. That's the eyes being evil towards his brother, right?
That's right.
And that's how you know brotherhood is the solution. Carnalismo is the solution, because had they known these commandments, right? Had they known the law, statutes, and commandments, had they had their culture, there's no way they would be doing this. There's no way they would be following the way of the heathen, trying to align themselves with these right wing extremist groups. Like, I don't even know the groups accepted him, Jaime. I think this is another cat that might be mentally ill, man, because obviously you're not right in the head if you're brown and you're getting Nazi tattoos. You know what I mean? That's like a black man getting Nazi tattoos. That's like, like Clayton Bigsby. That's exactly what that is, Jaime. And that's wild, man. It's wild that's what it comes down to, man.
Salaki, sir, and if I may, it might not be a surprise that they probably use them, the group. I mean, that they probably, they say, why should we get our hands dirty when we can use this,
right?
This guy to carry out a plan or whatever. He was. That's more likely to me to be the issue. I mean, I'm not sure, but
right. I mean, it could be, Jaime, because it's just crazy now that this is going down like that. Like, it's like that's gonna be. I did, Lord allow they bring out more about this guy so that we can find out that he was mentally ill. And you know what's funny, Jaime? You see him and how he looks, right? And you see the tattoos, right? And that shows you, right, as the Bible says, what happened, man. We follow after these other nations. We follow their ways. We try to be like them, and thus we do it. Now, if you could, go to the book of Matthew. I think it's in Matthew. Give me 1 second. You know what I mean? Where Christ told the Israelites, right, the Sadducees and Pharisees, their problem. Go to the book of John 8:44. All right, I'm gonna go there. You got it? All right, dale, canal.
The book of John, chapter 8, verse 44.
Verse 44.
Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do.
Right. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do. This is Christ speaking. As you see, the scripture is in red. Go ahead, carnal.
He was a murderer from the beginning, and abode not in the truth.
Right. He was a murderer from the beginning and abode not in the truth. Who is this talking about, Jaime?
Satan, the devil, sir.
Right, but who more specifically? Who's a murderer from the beginning?
Esau, sir.
Esau is the descendant of who's the descendant of Cain, right? Cain was a murderer from the beginning. Cain killed Abel, and he abode not in the truth, right? I keep going.
Because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of himself, of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it.
Right, because there's no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own. For he is a liar and the father of it. When we say the white man is the devil the Bible speaks of, this is John 8:44. This is telling you who the devil is. What they say about the oppressor, Jaime? Pale face, forked tongue, right? Because he can't speak anything. He can't tell the truth at all. He spreads lies. You're right, Jaime. It's a possibility that group RWDS probably put that carnal up to it. They probably lied to him and told him they were going to accept him. You know what I mean? All they had to do was do this mission for him.
They probably isolated him and spoke smooth words.
Right. spoke smooth words, but because they're the fathers of lies, there's no truth in any of them. They tell lies and spread lies. All these Republicans and politicians are going to exploit this situation to demonize Raza even more. When it's Raza attacking Raza, man, look at how evil these oppressors are. I'm going to not to sidebar too much, but back to the first story, right? Look at what the governor Abbott of Texas said about the victims. I was called the victims illegal immigrants. And that's what's crazy.
After he referred to the victims of a Cleveland mass shooting as illegal migrants. In the same statement, Abbott also offered his condolences as well. The Texas governor's approach was to offer $50,000.
What the scripture said, let me go back to it. It says, for he is a father. When he speak of a lie, he speak of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it, right? He called them illegal immigrants and then offered his condolences. So he disrespected them and then, took it, said he's sorry, being passive aggressive. That's what this white man does, Jaime. We're the kings of being passive aggressive. Or what is it? Passive aggressiveness.
Con.
For any information on the shooter, which killed 5 people, including an 8-year-old boy. This particular statement was able to get reaction from actor, former politicians, and immigration rights organizations. Several people on the internet also denounced Abbott's statement. Star Trek actor George Takei.
I've announced a $50,000 reward for info on the criminal who killed 5 illegal immigrants Friday. Also directed Operation Lone Star to be on the lookout. Right? Called them illegal immigrants. This white man is the devil. Like he's still, like, even in that, he's showing like what he thinks of you. You remember that story with Trump, right? Where he called it was a U.S. soldier that died in war, and the soldier was a Judite, right? But he told the family of the soldier he knew what he signed up for. That's what he told them. Like that's the lack of compassion these oppressors have for us, man.
That's right.
Lack of compassion, man. Like they really, will kick you and beat you when you're down. Like there was no need to emphasize, their quote unquote legal status. As a matter of fact, man, it's irrelevant because they're not illegal immigrants. I know you oppressors love to say that, but they're not illegal immigrants because this is their land. This is our land that you devils came and stole. So for y'all to say that and act that way, man, just shows how evil y'all are, man, and show how evil, what your true nature. It shows your hatred you have for the raza. Donald Trump used that situation. He's going to use this situation to push the agenda to launch missiles into Mexico, Jaime. I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I mean?
Con.
Now let's go into the Brotherhood, man. If you could, go to the First John 4:20. There we got it, Carnal.
Got it, sir. The
Go
book
ahead.
of First John, chapter 4 and verse 20. If a man say, I love God, and hateth his brother, he is a liar.
Khan, if a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, he is a liar. Now I'm gonna go back to the first point. Remember, I was gonna bring up the first point about the guy, the shooter, and this guy. Let me go back to that one. The tattoo he had on him. on his arm. Remember how I said that, right, Jaime?
Con.
Salakia. We're gonna show right here. What did he have on his arm, Mat?
Picture of the Virgin of Guadalupe.
Khan. Let me go to it real quick. Here's the story, right? That's this one right here. What's this guy's name?
Side in the yard. Eyewitness News reporter Josh Einiger with how law enforcement finally tracked him down. Josh.
Well, Bill, the search for the shooter involved more than 200 officers and continued around the clock for days. And in the end, he was just miles away, hiding under a pile of laundry. We're going to show you now brand new video of 38-year-old Francisco Oropesa in the front seat of that government.
Francisco Oropesa. Right now, let me see if I can get a better picture to see that tattoo on his arm. Francisco Oropesa. So this is a cat that did it. Oh, here we go. Look. Let's see this picture right here. It even got the picture right there. What the? Oh, good night, Doc. Look, there's more to this guy. He was part of a death cult? What's that look like, Jaime? Right, that look like the Virgin Mary, right? I mean, it might not be. There might be something else, but look, I just pulled the story up, and look at what it reads. Accused Texas gunman Francisco Oropesa reportedly had death cult shrine. So he was part of a death cult.
Wow.
Reportedly, right? And look at, of course, what did they say? They said the illegal immigrant who allegedly gunned down five of his Texas neighbors, right? Of course, they have to emphasize illegal immigrant. Reportedly had a death cult shrine in his bedroom where candles were still seen burning 2 days after the massacre. A law enforcement source who saw the scene told the Center for Immigration Studies, this ES group, by the way, that Francisco Oropesa's elaborate shrine honored the Santa Muerte death cult. So he had Santa Muerte on his arm. Now, Jaime, let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 28, verse 38. Or Salakia, verse 36.
28, verse 36.
Khan, Deuteronomy 28 and 36.
Khan. The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 36. The Lord shall bring thee and thy kings which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone.
Other gods of wood and stone, right? The Santa Muerte, who does that belong to, carnal? So that's who he has on his arm. He has the Santa Muerte. See, this is the tattoos he has. Look at that. The first brother, right? Mauricio Garcia had Nazi tattoos. This cat has the Santa Muerte.
Okay.
Which
From far
shows
away right here on this picture, it does look like the Virgin Mary, but look up close, it's more of a
the Grim Reaper, all types of other gods and symbolisms, right? See, Aztec princess, I mean, this right here, the bottom two are the ones that shows like his mind, where his mind is at, right? He's under, what did the scripture say? Ye are of your father, the devil. That's who his daddy is, the white man, right? Because that's who he's worshiping, right? A law enforcement source who saw the scene told the Center for Immigration Studies that Francisco Oropesa's elaborate shrine honored the Santa Muerte death cult. The shrine of Nuestra Señora de la Santa Muerte, as it's formally called, included several statues of patron saints, a stack of $2 bills, flowers, and a tinfoil filled with an apparent drug, ostensibly offerings to protect the accused killer. Two tall candles were still burning Monday, 2 days after Oropesa, 38, allegedly used an AR-15 style rifle to kill 5 neighbors when he was asked to stop firing a weapon in his Cleveland, Texas yard. The Mexican national, of course, right, who has reportedly been deported 4 times. Of course, they want to emphasize that because these devils, man, there's no truth in them. The father of lies was captured Tuesday night while hiding underneath laundry in a home in the Texas city of Conroe, after authorities received a tip about his whereabouts. So obviously he's not in the right state of mind. You know what I mean? Obviously he's mentally ill, right? So we go back to first John 4:20, right? If a man say, I love God and hateth his brother, he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother who he hath seen, how can he love God who he hath not seen? So he's letting it be known that he does not love God. That's why he worships the Santa Muerte. That's why he worships, those he has those symbolisms. Same thing with Mauricio Garcia with Nazi tattoos. That's who they worship. They worship the white man as their God, right? That's why the Bible said, "Ye are your father, the devil, and the lust of your father ye will do." The wanting to unalive people. That's what the white man does. And that's the reality of it, Jaime. That's the reality of what's going on. These oppressors, right? We are following after the white man, and this is why we do what we do. That's crazy, though, man. I would have never thought, But that's why we're in this business, man. We're in this business to save lives, right? How can ya sabes, carnal? Así es. How can he love God who he have not seen? Right? How can he? For he is a liar. For he that loveth not his brother whom he have seen, how can he love God whom he have not seen? I'll read it, Jaime. I got it, carnal. And this commandment have we from him, that he who loveth God loveth his brother also. And then, of course, the next verse, right? The next chapter, 1 John 5:1, whosoever believeth that Yahweh Shai Mashiach is born of God, of course, ignorantly the Bible calls him Christ, Jesus Christ, right? And everyone that loveth him that begat, loveth him also that is begotten of him. Right? So you believe Christ is that Yahweh Shai is the Son of God, and everyone that love him that begat, loveth him also that is begotten of him. So if you believe Christ is the Son of God, and everyone that follows Christ is of Christ, right? By this we know that we love the children of God, when we love God and keep his commandments. Right? This is why I've been emphasizing how the law, statutes, and commandments translate to brotherhood. Right? For this is the love of God, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. Right? Right? Because go back to 1 John 4:21, that he who loveth God loveth his brother also. You're keeping the commandments towards your brother. I brought it out earlier, Exodus 20:13, thou shalt not kill, or thou shalt not murder, right? Hey, shalom, sis. Yahweh Shamar Alatha Bashim Yahushai. Right, the sister Mariah. You know, Jaime? So that's the reality of it, carnal. This is the carnalism. This is how we prevent incidents like that, right? With the council, how you approach a brother that you have an issue with. But of course, because he was not in the truth, he was following a death cult, and the other cat was following the Nazis. And this is what happens when we follow after other gods, when we take on the customs of other nations. We turn on one another. Our eyes become evil towards our brother. We stop loving our brother as ourselves. You know what I mean, Jaime?
Con.
Let me see. Let me pull up another brotherhood precept. Love thy brother as thyself. Let's go to Matthew 22 and 36. There we got it, Jaime.
Con. The book of Matthew, chapter 22 and verse 36. Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Verse 37. Jesus said unto him, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind.
Right. Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy mind. Keep reading, carnal.
Verse 38. This is the first and great commandment.
Right. This is the first and great commandment.
And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself.
Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. Now, who is thy neighbor, Jaime? Right? Okay, hold on. Let's finish Matthew 20. Let's finish Matthew 22 and go to the next one, verse 40.
Verse 40. And these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets.
So to love thy neighbor as thyself, right? Christians hear that, right? And think that this is talking about loving anybody, anyone, but this is specifically talking about a certain people, Jaime. Let's go to the book of Leviticus 19 and 20 to show who the neighbor is.
Leviticus.
It might be 19 and 20. If that's not it, it might be 20, the other one, 20 and 19. Yeah, I think it's the other one. Was it 9? No, 19 and 18, Salakia. Start at 17, Carnal.
The book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thine heart. Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor, and not suffer sin upon him.
So, hey, Shalom, I don't want y'all Salakia, Jaime. I'm going to read again. Leviticus 19 and 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart, right? Thou shalt not in any wise rebuke thy neighbor and not suffer sin upon him. Keep reading, Carnal. Go to verse 18 now.
Verse 18. Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people, but thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
Thou shalt not avenge nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people. What did Mauricio Garcia do? He bared grudge against the children of thy people. What did Francisco Oropesa do? He bared grudge against the children of thy people. Right? They murdered their own people because they were not in the truth. They murdered their own people because not being in the truth, they lacked brotherhood. They lacked Carnalismo. That's what happens, man. This is why the work we do is important, because we are giving you the solution. This is the solution, right? The truth, right? Carnal, which equates to brotherhood and sisterhood, right? Carnalismo. This would have saved their lives, man. Had these brothers been in class, did their 90 days, became troopers, became officers, right? And had the truth, they would have never behaved like this. He would have
That's
did.
right.
He would have did what I brought out at the beginning with Matthew, right? Where we're saying, go if thou have an issue with thy brother, go to him and him alone, and take him to counsel. They would have learned not to follow the way of the heathen. You know what I mean? They would have not, took on the philosophy of the Nazis. They would have not took on, the death cult, the Santa Muerte. You know what I mean? And really, you know what all those are, right, Jaime? What they really are?
They're demons, sir.
But no, it's a religion that it really is.
False religions.
That's true, but it's a certain religion, carnal. Let's see if you can get it. See if you can bring me home.
Pagan religions.
That's true. It's a pagan religion, but it's something we say that's one West, Jaime. Everything outside the ISUBK is what?
Christianity.
There you go. Así es, carnal. You got it, carnal. Así es. That's all they are. They're Christians. That Santa Muerte, that right-wing death squad, this is their God right here. This is their God right here. This is who they truly worship, right? This is the true image that they worship. This is why they murdered all those people. In the name of this devil right here. They did because of this man right here. See if I can get the picture. There we go. Salakia, man. We need to get let's Google be on something else, man. Let's see if we get. Okay, here we go. This image right here is why they did it, man. Let's see if this picture enlarges so we can show our the Carnalismo and mujeres out there. Right, this is why. Right here, these images, Jaime. This is why they did what they did. Mariah says she got it. Christian. They're really Christians. They had the mark of the beast, carnal. That's what they had. The mark of the beast in the forehead and in the right hand. That's what they had. That's what happened with them, man. But we'll bring that out later. As a matter of fact, let's bring it out real quick. Go to the book of Revelation, Simon. Go to Revelation chapter 13, verse 16.
Chapter 16?
13.
13. It's a lot. Verse
16.
16. Khan out of one Khan. The book of Revelations.
Oh, damn.
Check. You got it?
I got it. Go ahead,
sir.
Go ahead.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 16. And he that causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Khan, now I'm going to show a picture real quick, right? Because it says, right, Revelation 13 and 16, Jaime, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, right? Now, let's show the picture again. What arm is that Nazi symbol on? That SS, what arm is it on?
His right hand, sir.
His right hand, right? Who did he murder with that right hand, with that symbol? His own people.
His own people.
His own people. Right? That's the proof that the mark of the beast is not a chip. It is not an RFID chip that they put in you and they, and have some mind control over you. The mark of the beast is this. The mark of the beast is that swastika and that SS, because they manipulate you to kill your own people. The mark of the beast is tied to this image right here. The mark of the beast teaches you to go against your own brother. Keep reading out.
Verse 17. And that no man might buy or sell,
Or
save
Salak.
he.
Now you're good. Salak, we'll drop that.
If I may, sir.
Go ahead, Kana.
If there was to have a full picture of that image that you just posted up, he is dressed just like the Santa Muerte.
Oh, you have an image of the way he was dressed? We'll pull it up.
I'm just saying, in that tunic, that they show the oppressor Christ, the white so-called Christ in the garment that he wears, all in the images that they paint of him. He's dressed in like a tunic that's all the way down to the knee. I mean to the ankles, where it's just like a whole tunic, and that's what the Santa Muerte, and most of the saints wear. So that that's off.
Right, Hyman. That's heavy you say that, Canal, because that's exactly, you know what I mean? I'm pretty sure like they said, they brought out, he had his little shrine and everything. So it shouldn't be a shock that this is, he had the mark of the beast. He has the mark of the beast in his forehead, right? The mark of the beast gets you to turn against your brother and gets you to follow their philosophy. The mark of the beast is their philosophy, right? That's what Nazism is. That's the white man's philosophy. The mark of the beast is, doing the lust of your father, the devil, and sinning against the Most High, right? And turning against God. Because the scripture also said, any man that says he loves God and hateth his brother, he's a liar. And these cats showed that they hated their brothers, man.
That's right.
So that's something to be aware of, Raza. That following after the religions, the philosophies of America will turn you to be a mass shooter. Will turn you to come against your own, because they're really just another form of Christianity, man. That's really what it is. That's what the Santa Muerte is. That's what the swastika is, man. So you want the proof? I could show you. To show y'all the pictures of the Catholic Church with the Nazis. We should show that real quick, Jaime, before we close the class out, because we're about the top of the time.
Concert.
Like this is what you serve when you're in that Catholic Church, when you're worshiping the Santa Muerte. Like gods of wood and stone. As you can see, these religions do nothing for us but destroy us, Jaime. I would have never thought this would have such a effect on us, man. Like this is what Nazism is, man. We definitely colonizing the mind. Right? If you could, Jaime, we're gonna end the class with this last precept. Go if you could, Baba Kasha, go to the book of Second Thessalonians 2 and 3. And with that, we'll end the class. You see that this is what you're worshiping when you worship that Christian church. When you're in that Christian church and that Catholic church, you're aligning yourselves with white supremacists. Where's the proof that the Christian religion is a religion of white supremacy? You look at the history of Christianity and you look at the effect it has on our people. And that lets you know this is not our religion. This is not for us. You could, Carnal. Bring this out, man, and we're going to close it.
The book of Second Thessalonians, chapter 2 and verse 3. Let no man deceive you by any means, For that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition.
Right. Let no man deceive you by any means. What happened to Mauricio Garcia and Francisco Oropesa? They were deceived, right?
Con.
For that day shall not come except there come a falling away first. What did they do? They did not fall away. They did not separate themselves from America, from the philosophies of this oppressor, from the philosophies of the so-called white man. You know, the man of sin, which is what we do here in the ISUPK, we reveal the man, and that the man of sin be revealed. That's what we do. We reveal him, the son of perdition, right? That's the so-called white man. That's the Nazis. That's, white supremacy. That's all the hate groups, the governments of America, all these other nations that have some. They're the son of perdition. They're the men of sin, the so-called white man that get you to go against your people and sin. Because what is sin, Jaime?
Sin is the transgression of the law, sir.
Right, carnal. Breaking the laws. What does that mean?
It means you eat shrimp, pork, or lobster. That means you sleep with with your brother's wife. Means that you'll kill your brother.
Right. You got it, carnal. That's exactly what it means. When you know what I mean? That's exactly what it means. You're not being a brother. You're not being a carnal. You're not keeping brotherhood or carnalismo when you sin. When you follow after this man of perdition and after these other nations. Right now you could carnal. So like I said, that was gonna be the last one, but one last one. This one we need to close up with. Go to Romans 13:11.
The book of Romans, chapter 13, verse 11. And that knowing the time, that now is high time to awaken out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed.
And that knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we believed. Now is the time that's to wake up. Separate yourself from America, man. Separate your spirit out of this place. Right? Because as you're seeing, man, that's what happens. That's what happens when you follow after the culture of these other nations, man. You'll become a serial killer. You'll become a mass shooter, trying to be like the so-called white man, following his belief and his practices.
That's right.
So we're in the job to reveal the man of sin, and we're in the job of waking our people up, man, to decolonize your mind. Because them cats were colonized in the mind. They had the mark of the beast in their foreheads, man, and in their right hands. And brotherhood, they had no brotherhood and no sisterhood, right? But that concludes today's class, Rasa. You know what I mean? We went into these, situations that happened at Tejas to show, what following after these other nations, what that does. That does not benefit us. It's our demise. With that, man, I want y'all should, come in here, wake up out of this sleep by continuing to come to class and continuing to listen to what we have to say. What's the scripture says? He that have ears, let him hear, right? If you're hearing this and understanding this, man, get in class. Get in all black, carnal, and do your 90 days. Get in class, sis, mujer, right, and do your 90 days. But that's today's brotherhood class. No, we're gonna come back with it next week. Tomorrow's the law class. Tune in for that one. Of course, scripture breakdown on Thursday, and Friday the Lashuman Kodash. Saturday the Sabbath, and of course camp, right, Jaime? 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday, and what is it, 10 to 12 every Salaki, Tuesday through Friday, 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. and on Saturday 10 to 12, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Then we got camp on Hollywood Boulevard, right across from Jimmy Kimmel Live at 2 p.m. until We're right here. You already know where we at, Raza. You can go to istpk.com for any more information. You know, always right there. Always hop to that website, man, for all the info on the classes, your areas, your zones, who you need to contact if you're trying to get into class. But with that, I'm about to close the class out, man. We're the ISUPK, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahana. And we're the only home of the truth. Con eso,
That's
Raza.
right.
Así es, carnal. Yahaba Shem Yahushai Barakatah to the carnales. Yahweh Shema Alatah Ba Shem Yahushai to the mujeres. Shalom, Raza. Shalom, Israel.
Shalom.